This is Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here on CCW-TV, the Comic Culture Warrior video channel. Back from San Diego, back into the familiar surroundings of the Dreamland Comics, and many of you have already expressed how glad you are that I have this guy here next to me.
I'm going to try to go to San Diego next year.
I'm done. I don't want to go back.
I'm definitely going to go.
But we will be at Chicago Comic Con, so we'll see.
Oh, I never filled out that thing because it irritated me to no end.
Really? Well, then I guess he won't be going. All right, let's look at an independent book, because you guys have kind of been honest about too much mainstream stuff. Okay, let's see what the hit counts on these videos are. Hotwire, deep cut number 1
of 3
from Radical Comics, an independent book created by Steve Pugh and Warren Ellis.
But Stephen Pugh just writes and draws this story arc.
This particular story arc. I think didn't Warren Ellis co-wrote the first one?
The first one
with him. So anyway, Hotwire tells a story of a sort of future or alternate reality where...
I think it's future.
Is it future?
Yeah.
The protagonist in our story is a detective exorcist. The interesting thing is that she is not an exorcist of the mystical type. She believes firmly in science and has, of course, scientific explanations for phantasms, ghosts.
Well, we should also say
like
that she's a genius.
And she's a genius, like a 165 something...
135.
135 IQ. Female protagonist, very good, because that you can see Warren Ellis's fingerprints all over this, because he tends to, get involved with creating strong female protagonists quite a bit. In this story, we meet the character of... Her name is Hotwire, right?
Alice Hotwire.
Alice Hotwire, that's what she's called. She's kind of recovering from...
The first story
arc, where she almost got killed and lost her arm and stuff like that. Now she's being pulled back into the fray when some ghosts, or what do they call them? Blue lights is what they're called. Because the...
so in the story, in this universe, 50 years from where this is taking place in the past, people just stop dying.
Right.
And they turn into these blue lights.
Because what's happening is that there is so much electronic equipment, the wireless signals and networks keep the spirits from actually leaving this world. It's like they get confused by all the energy of our technology. So they don't move on to the next world, they stay in ours. So they get kind of trapped in here, so you have all this weird shit going on with, with ghosts or blue lights. And there is, of course, a scientific explanation for them. And if anything, this is a case where you have science is not the it's a society where science is not the prevailing attitude towards explaining things. People want to find the mystical reasoning for it. So Alice Hotwire is saying, look, science can explain everything. So, really interesting. The one thing I really liked about this, and the story in this issue is really straightforward. There's this ghost, this ghostly type being that kills a man. The cops chase it. Alice has to be pulled.
Well, it was his father.
His father, right.
Right.
The ghost comes back to kill his father. The cops are called in to chase after it. There's this extended chase sequence where Alice is also being pulled into the whole thing. But as all this is going on, there are flashbacks to her previous life before she became a detective exorcist. And you see the kind of relationships that she's had in the past.
And the fact that she... in some of the flashbacks, they talk about how, since she is pretty much a genius, how she took drugs on purpose to make
herself dumb.
Make herself dumb.
Because when you're a genius, when you have a genius intellect, a lot of baggage comes with that. When you can understand things and be when you're the smartest person in the room, that's a good way to isolate yourself.
Yeah, and then and on top of that, while it's gone, she like has an abusive boyfriend who likes to keep her dumb.
Likes to keep her dumb, and tells her that when you're smart, you're a person that nobody likes.
Yeah.
So, I've got to say, as I was reading this issue, I flashed a little bit to Scarlet, the Brian Bendis' book that we really enjoyed when we talked about that last. Just because a female protagonist finds herself sometimes involved with scuzzy males, I mean, it doesn't necessarily... And allows herself to be victimized. It doesn't mean that she's always going to be a victim, and it doesn't mean that she can't fight her way out of it. But
she made the choice to do that, though.
Yeah,
I mean, that was the big thing, is that she made the choice to be a victim.
Right. And she works her way out of it, too, as we find out in the present of the story, where that particular character who she was involved with before has returned as a ghost. So it's kind of neat. Steve Pugh's artwork in this is really, really good.
It's really good stuff.
For a radical book, I mean, I don't mean it as a slight, but this book here, the artwork in this issue here is superior to a lot of stuff you're going to find.
Better than Nick Simmons?
Oh, jeez. You're going to find it better than a lot of stuff that the mainstream publishers like Marvel and DC are doing right now.
Yeah, this book is absolutely beautiful.
It's a beautiful book.
And the thing that works is I like the character. I ordered, we actually are still out of the first trade here, but I actually ordered a couple for the store, and our reorder, and one is for me, because after reading this, I want to go back and read it. I don't know, people mentioned Locus Mortis. I'm giving him a shout out because he told us about this book in this specific issue in the previews write-up that he does for the blog. Right. So I'm like, well, if he likes it, there's got to be something to it. And I always liked the art, but I just, it was just one of those things that I just never picked up. I pick up too much shit as it is.
Right.
But it was different enough, and the art was, just caught my eye. I like the character. I love the character design. That's the other thing that caught my eye, is like I love the character design of Hotwire. I don't know. It's kind of serious. I mean, you have these bumbling cops. Fucking shit up. Like,
they are, yeah.
And they're really... I mean, it's funny because they make you think that they're idiots, but then at the end of the story, when Alice, confronts these guys, they're anything but.
Right.
But there's a lot of humor. Like
it's not that they're idiots, it's that... well, yeah, they do have an agenda, for one thing. And when they fuck shit up, it's not because they're incompetent. It's just because they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care about people's lives. They don't care about anything. But I have to say, the entire book, my favorite scene, though, was the flashback in the hospital.
Yeah.
Where she's regrowing her arm.
Regrowing her arm. Where she shows this little girl that they're growing her a new arm, and it's just like a skeleton with some sinew over it.
Yeah, it's her partner's...
daughter. Or niece. Daughter or niece, I forget.
Yeah.
But then the little girl sees it, and she's like, oh my god, that is so cool!
Yeah.
Not showing a young girl as a screaming Mimi or a delicate flower, but as, a really strong, independent character.
And I love this panel, too, where it ends with, science does not believe in ghosts. Like, she's... and she does go on this... Hotwire goes on this tirade at these cops about how there has to be a
scientific explanation.
Because what is he here? I love this word balloon here. It's like there's also a tidal wave of crazies and cultists using the blue light phenomena to vilify science and exploit the most folks' innate stupidity. I love that. I don't know. I love
Which
that.
is kind of a talk against. It's a shot against religion.
Yeah.
That as many as Karl Marx says, religion is an opiate of the masses. But
no, I highly recommend picking this book up. It's got awesome action, it's got awesome art, it's got awesome story, and it's great characters, too.
And it's a smart book. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a smart book. It's going to challenge you a bit.
And those are the kind of books that we kind of like around here, too. Yeah. So,
when we come back, we will talk about another story that challenges you a bit. And it's a movie that you guys... have been asking us what we thought about it. When we come back, Jose and I talk about Inception. We hope you join us.
Inception.
You saw it, right?
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about Eclipse. Because I saw that too. I thought that was the challenging movie.